Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I do want to speak about Hansi Flick wanting Thiago Alcantara to help Gavi and Pedri to develop their skills. Later in the video, we're also going to be talking about the transfer agreement that has been made between FC Barcelona and Pau Victor, a striker that was important to Barca Athletic by scoring 20 goals last season and providing 6 assists. Later in the video, we're also going to be talking about Barcelona also signing Mbacke, another Barca Athletic player that Hansi Flick does appreciate a lot. Also made a lot of negotiations to bring the player back to FC Barcelona. He is a center back and destined to see some first team minutes in the next season. And then lastly, we are going to end it with Gundogan and about his intentions to stay at the club. There is plenty to discuss for today's video, and so let's get started. It says here, according to Pintanel, that Hansi Flick is keen on bringing in Thiago Alcantara to help enhance and develop the skills of Gavi and Pedri. So in order for us to understand why Hansi Flick really wants Thiago Alcantara to help Pedri and Gavi, we have to understand the type of player Thiago Alcantara was back in his career. I remember back in the summer of 2013, Pep Guardiola did say it is Thiago or nothing. This was a time when Guardiola was about to coach Bayern Munich. Guardiola did help Thiago Alcantara to become one of the best midfielders in Europe with Bayern Munich. He was amazing at that time. He was also a player that just came from FC Barcelona. He was also later coached by Hansi Flick, and Hansi Flick turned Thiago Alcantara to his best physical self. He was in top prime physical condition. And throughout his years at Bayern, he was required to play as a central midfielder because he had great high endurance and good mobility. And even though he was not the tallest player, his strengths was in the ground duels and challenging bigger opponents. He also showed at his time at Bayern that he can play in multiple positions. He started as a number 8 during his first 3 seasons at Bayern, then eventually became a 10 in the 2016-2017 season, and then eventually evolved into an excellent number 6. Sometimes he was a lone pivot, or sometimes he was placed in the double pivot position. Thiago Alcantara had many strengths. His field awareness was amazing, always constantly scanning the field before he even received the ball, and he was always aware of who was his nearest opponents. He had a great dribbling and control by making flick passes, shoulder drops, quick sprints, close control in very congested zones, and he was exceptional also in press resistance. Every time he had the ball, he never lost it. He forced opponents to protect space instead of making them commit to challenges because they knew they were not able to take the ball away from Thiago Alcantara. He was also very crucial from a defensive standpoint, right? In terms of transition when Bayern lost the ball, his counter pressing was top notch. His interceptions and recoveries were also really good. His willingness to attempt challenges was always there, and he prefers tackling while standing, mainly because he is very short. And he ended it all at Bayern by having a great first leg game against Chelsea during a Champions League tie. So as you can see there, right, Thiago Alcantara had many qualities that I believe Pedri and Gavi can learn from. And the fact that he went from a number 8 to a number 10 to also a number 6, these are also qualities that I believe Pedri and Gavi should learn. Hansi Flick does want this. Hansi Flick wants to say in the future, if he is here long enough, to say, hey Pedri, can you play the number 6 role for just 2 games? Or hey Gavi, can you play in the number 8 role, and then I'll put you back in the number 6 role in about 3 to 4 games from today. Hansi Flick wants to be able to say that because it allows for more flexibility in case of any of the players do get injured. Pedri and Gavi have to be that. It's what made Thiago Alcantara so special, and I believe that he will be teaching Pedri and Gavi many things. Maybe not just even the versatility, but also how to press, how to adapt your defensive game based off your height, because Pedri and Gavi are not the tallest midfielders. Players like Rodri and Busquets are really good at intercepting, recovering the ball, tackling, because they have long legs. Pedri and Gavi don't have that. Thiago Alcantara during his prime years was able to do that, but in a very different way, right? He tackled while standing up. Pedri and Gavi can do the exact same thing. I mean, like, we have seen Gavi slide tackle before, even though he's like the shortest midfielder there. That is because of his spirit, right? It is because of his mentality. But I think that Thiago can teach him so many things. So you better bet that Pedri and Gavi will for sure evolve in the next season under the guidance of not just Hansi, but also Thiago. I also believe that because Thiago has went through many injuries in his last 5 seasons. Before he retired 2 months ago, we saw Thiago very persistent during those tough times, right? He went through COVID, he went through hip problems, he went through getting injured during the warm-ups, but he still pulled through to make sure that he appeared for his last team, which was Liverpool. I mean, like, think about it, right? He played 97 out of 168 matches since joining Liverpool. That's basically half, right? He missed half of the games that he could have been available for, but he still won titles. He still had great performances during his last 3 to 4 years at Liverpool. And I believe that Pedri and Gavi can learn from that, to learn how to be persistent during tough times, because we have seen so many youngsters, and especially at Barcelona, go through injuries and never truly come back. So now moving on towards the next conversation, and I do want to speak about Pau Victor. Now, this one does get me very excited, and I will be explaining explaining why. There has been an agreement that has been reached between Barcelona and Girona for the transfer of Pau Victor. The transfer fee was approximately 3 million euros, and Pau is expected to earn some minutes in the first team. That is one of the ideas that Deco and Hansi Flick does have for the striker here. He joined Barca Athletic for one season, which was the 2023-2024 season, and Deco was extremely happy with the way that he has performed. I mean, like, look, he is 22 years old. He's not considered as the youngest player at Barcelona, right? Because we have been so gifted with having players like Balde, Gavi, Pedri, Ansu Fati, Lamine Yamal, Kobarsi, all being under the age of 20 years old before they got into the first team. But Pau Victor is still, overall, in terms of just football in general, a very young player. And at the age of 22 years old, he is showcasing that the third division is just too easy for him, which is why he was able to be the top scorer in the third division last season. He almost led Barca Athletic to promotion, and he scored 20 goals and provided 6 assists. These are wonderful numbers. Now, playing in third division is very different to playing in first division, but the talent is there. The ability to always rise during your team's toughest moments, that spirit is there for Pau Victor. And at one point in the past 2 months, Barcelona were not going to sign Pau Victor. They had a clause before in the contract where they were able to sign the player for 3 million euros, but it expired in April. Barcelona did not do anything before April and before it did expire. But then eventually Barcelona spoke to Girona and they continued negotiations, and that is what led towards the agreement. So one of the most interesting things about this is that I think that the reason why Pau Victor has been called up and why Barcelona have in a way did change their mind to bring back the player is because point number one, Marc Gui left. Marc Gui was supposed to be the player that was supposed to join Barcelona's first team next season. He was in the plans. He was supposed to be the next Barca Athletic player to go to the first team, but he left to Chelsea for sporting reasons or financial reasons. And to Hansi Flick, this was a big blow. Marc Gui showcased that he can score goals. He did it under Xavi Hernandez in the previous season, and that he does have talent, but he left. And then we have the situation of Vitor Roque. Vitor Roque is not being seen with a lot of confidence. I remember seeing a report that came out 3 days ago that stated Vitor Roque has a tough time being in the rondos, right? Because his first touch is horrible. He cannot really pass at the level that is required at Barcelona. Vitor Roque is missing a lot of things. And even though, yes, he can score goals, his technical side is not his biggest strengths. And they're starting to see that under Hansi Flick's training sessions. So there is so much uncertainty. We don't even know if he's going to make it. Maybe he might be loaned. Maybe he might be sold. And then you talk about Lewandowski. Lewandowski needs to have some sort of backup and a reliable backup, because Lewandowski will be 35 or 36 years old, I believe, in this upcoming season. He's literally in his mid-30s. And how is Barcelona, a team that wants to win La Liga, the Super Cup, the Champions League, the Copa del Rey, going to be able to rely on a player that can't even be available in every game for 90 minutes? Lewandowski definitely needs to be rotated, and when Lewandowski does get rotated to be refreshing, we need to have a reliable number 9, and so Pau Victor can be a solution. So Barcelona have been signing a few players, right? We're also going to be talking about Mbacke, and just because Barcelona have been signing permanently some other players in the past few weeks, it also does not mean that Barcelona have forgotten about Nico Williams, because it has also been said that Barcelona will continue to bring their efforts to signing Nico Williams no matter what happens. That is the priority. So speaking about Mbacke, now I do want to move on to that conversation, and it says here that Barcelona have permanently also signed Mamadou Fall Mbacke from Los Angeles FC on a contract until 2026 with an option to extend for a further 2 more years. So I know that many of you guys do not know who Mbacke is, and so let me give you guys a quick update. He is a 21-year-old center back who does play for Senegal. His previous club was Los Angeles FC, also known as LAFC, and now his new club is FC Barcelona. Last season, he was on loan with Barca Athletic. He played 21 games and started in 19 of those games, so he was very important. Rafa Marquez saw him as a very ideal player and fundamental player towards Barca Athletic's performances. And in total, he made 42 appearances so far across all competitions for the LAFC, and he has scored 6 goals and provided 1 assist. He was also loaned out during his time at LAFC to Villarreal, and he spent 1 year on loan through those lower divisions. So he already had some sort of experience on knowing what it's like to play in Spain, which is why when he finally arrived to Barca Athletic, he came in with a lot of enthusiasm and efforts to really win. The general manager of LAFC also gave him a lot of compliments, and he said that he believes Barcelona is a great fit for Mbacke. He does describe him as a very incredible potential and exceptional player. And so to me, I'm very happy. I'm very happy to see that Mbacke has been signed. I mean, who knows? Maybe this whole thing could be a big twist and a big just lie. Maybe Barcelona might sell the player for more, maybe around 8 to 10 million euros in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Maybe this could be just a flip, but I think that Mbacke will stay. I was watching Barca Athletic in the past year, and I was watching their games. I think that this is something that I have not told you guys about, but I do watch the Barca Athletic games. I don't know if you guys are interested in those match reviews, but if you guys do want to see those match reviews, I would really like to make those reviews on this YouTube channel if you guys are interested. But yeah, when I was watching Mbacke and his performances, I'm like, this guy is a great center back. Like we talk about Mikael Faye, Mbacke is defensively very solid, and I'm like, this guy is underrated. When he first came in earlier to Barca Athletic, he had a lot of paperwork issues, which is why not a lot of people ended up talking about him, and he did get injured before the playoffs. But once he got the ball rolling, he was amazing, and he was in the first team training sessions for many months. And for some reason, Xavi Hernandez never really called up the player to maybe get 10 to 15 minutes in a first division match. So I think that Flick would love him. Sometimes we saw games where he single-handedly wanted to try and win games for Barca Athletic while playing as a center back, and that's insane. And there were also some games, right, and we have seen it with LAFC, but there were some games where he did play as a right back and also as a CDM, and still he came out on top. So let's see what type of plans are going to be held with Mbacke. Now moving on towards the last conversation, and I do want to get one thing very clear. There has been a lot of talks and rumors about Gundogan maybe leaving, because we have talked about how Noah Darovic could come in to the first team. We have talked about Fermin Lopez, Pedri, and now Dani Olmo, right? That's 4 total central attacking midfielders. Many people have been questioning, should Gundogan just leave? Should he just leave and go somewhere else and go to Saudi Arabia and win 30 million euros a season? Many have said that, right? They have said that Gundogan has no place because we have too many central attacking midfielders that are on the rise. 21 Marty also came out with this report that denied all those rumors, and this is what he said. Hansi Flick plans to speak with Gundogan soon about his intentions. The club won't come in the way if the midfielder is open on leaving due to fair play. However, the German player as of today wants to continue at Barcelona, and there has been other reports stating that Gundogan will not leave FC Barcelona. And to me, in my opinion, I don't think that Gundogan should leave. I think if anything, Gundogan should be an important pillar to Hansi Flick's project in the next season. I mean, like, think about it, right? Why would we let go of Gundogan when he just gave us one of his best seasons of his career? Last season, he played 51 matches, scored 5 goals, and provided 14 assists, and sometimes he played as a CDM. This is outrageous. There was only one season that Gundogan had, which was under Man City, that beat these numbers, and that was in the 2020-2021 season, where he played 46 matches, which is 5 matches less than what he did last season with Barcelona, and scored 17 goals and provided 4 assists. Those are monumental numbers. That's 21 goals total that he contributed on. That's almost like having 1 goal contribution every other game during that season. And at Barcelona, he was very close on doing that. And I think that on that season back in 2020, he did play as a full-time number 8. At Barcelona, he split his positions to a number 6 and also to a number 8, but still, he was able to have a very impactful season. 14 assists is a lot. Why would Barcelona let go of such a player? Same thing goes on with Fermin Lopez. Fermin Lopez scored, I think, 11 goals or something like that. And why would Fermin Lopez leave this season? Fermin Lopez and Gundogan should have continuity. Sport have also claimed, right? I know that we're supposed to be talking about Gundogan, but still, Sport have claimed that Barcelona will soon begin renewing the contract of Fermin Lopez until 2029. And so to me, I just think that when you speak about Gundogan and you speak about Fermin Lopez, they should have continuity. They brought actual numbers, which is goals and assists, and Barcelona do need that. And so that is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.